Have you ever wondered why your house always looks messy, even after you've cleaned it all? What if I told you that the problem isn't the dirt, but the amount of stuff you have? Minimalism that really works isn't about living in an empty house like in a movie. It's about having only what makes sense for your life. Imagine waking up every day in a space where every object has a purpose, where you can find everything quickly, and where cleaning only takes a few minutes. Sound impossible? I promise you it's not. In this video, you'll discover the 10 secrets of practical minimalism that will transform your home into a place of peace, not stress. If you don't apply these tips, you'll continue to waste time looking for things, spend money on unnecessary items, and live in the middle of a mess. But there's an important detail that many people don't tell you about minimalism, and I'll only reveal it at the end of the video. Stay until the end because this information could completely change the way you see your home. Tip 1. Start with the 30-day rule. Before you go and donate everything you have, there is a much smarter way to start. The 30-day rule is as simple as this. You take a box and put everything you haven't used in the last 30 days in it. You don't have to throw it away yet, just sort it out. The problem that many people face is not knowing where to start, and they end up giving up before even trying. They look at their entire house and feel lost. With this rule, you overcome this mental block because you have a clear criterion to decide. Let me give you a practical example. In your kitchen, look at which utensils you have actually used in the last month. That fryer you bought last year and used twice? Go in the box. That set of special dishes that only comes out on occasions that never happen? Go in the box too. The interesting part is that after those 30 days, you won't even remember that these things existed. It's amazing how quickly our minds adapt when we stop seeing objects every day. The benefits are immediate. You gain space, reduce visual clutter, and most importantly, become more aware of your consumption habits. Your home becomes easier to clean because there are fewer things to move around, and you save precious time that you were wasting organizing items that you don't even use. Tip 2. Apply the entry and exit technique. Here's a golden rule that will keep your home from becoming cluttered with unnecessary stuff again. For every new item that comes into your home, an old item has to go. Sounds too rigid. Let me explain why this is revolutionary. The big problem with people who try to organize their homes is that they keep buying new things without getting rid of the old ones. It's like trying to empty a bathtub with the tap running. You can organize 1,000 times, but if you don't stop the constant influx of objects, the mess will always come back. Let's think about a real-life example. You decide to buy a new blouse. Before you put that blouse away in your closet, you need to choose an old blouse to donate or sell. This forces you to evaluate what you really need and prevents your closet from becoming overcrowded. At first, it may seem difficult to choose what to get rid of, but over time, you'll develop a critical eye for your belongings. This technique works for everything: books, shoes, cleaning products, decorations. The result is a home that maintains a natural balance without accumulating excess. You'll notice that your purchasing choices become more conscious because you know that each new item means giving up something you already have. This saves money and space and gives you a sense of control over your environment. Tip 3. Create functional zones in your home. Now I'm going to show you how to organize your home in a way that really makes sense in your day-to-day life. The secret is to create functional zones, where each area of the house has a specific and clear function. The problem with many homes is that things are scattered around without logic, creating a constant feeling of disorganization. When you establish functional zones, each object finds its natural place, and keeping things organized becomes automatic. I'll give you a practical example in the kitchen. Create a food preparation area near the sink and cutting board, with knives and spices within reach. Have a cooking area near the stove, with pots and pans and kitchen utensils. And establish a cleaning area near the sink, with detergent and cloths. That way, you won't waste time looking for things because everything is where it makes sense to be. The same logic applies to other rooms. In the bedroom, create a sleeping area with only the essentials for a good night's sleep, a dressing area with clothes organized by category, and a relaxation area with a comfortable chair and good lighting. The direct benefit of this organization is that your routine becomes more fluid and efficient. You stop wasting time looking for objects because everything has its logical place. Your home becomes more functional and you feel like you have control over your space instead of being controlled by the clutter. If you're enjoying these practical tips, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I love knowing where our viewers are. Now let's move on to the next tip, which is one of the most transformative. Tip 4. Master the art of keeping just enough. This tip will change your relationship with stocks and reserves forever. The idea is simple. Keep just enough of each item, no more, no less. The problem is that many people buy excess products for fear of running out and end up with cupboards full of items that expire or deteriorate before they are used. This happens a lot with cleaning products, personal hygiene products, and non-perishable foods. To apply this rule, make a realistic assessment of your consumption. Note how long it takes you to use a tube of toothpaste, a bottle of detergent, or a package of toilet paper. Based on this information, keep only 2 or 3 units of each item. For example, if it takes you 2 months to finish a shampoo, having 5 bottles at home means that some will be stored for almost a year. In that time, you may find better products, change brands, or simply lose interest. The same logic applies to food. Buy only what you will use in the week, preventing food from spoiling in the fridge. The practical result is impressive. You gain a lot of storage space, save money because you don't buy on impulse, and drastically reduce waste. Your home becomes more organized because you don't have to find space for dozens of the same products, and you develop a more conscious relationship with consumption. Tip 5. Turn surfaces into free zones. It's time to talk about one of the most powerful rules of practical minimalism. Keep surfaces clear. This includes tables, countertops, dressers, and any flat surface in your home. The problem with cluttered surfaces is that they create a visual sense of clutter, even when the rest of your home is organized. Plus, cluttered surfaces attract more objects, creating a cycle of constant disorganization. The solution is to establish that these areas are for temporary use only, not permanent storage. Let's see how this works in practice. Your dining table should be clear for meals, not for accumulating mail, keys, and random objects. Your kitchen counter should be clear for preparing food, not for storing appliances you rarely use. Your nightstand should only have the essentials, maybe a lamp and a book you're reading. When you keep these surfaces clear, your home immediately feels more orderly and calm. It's amazing how this simple habit transforms the visual environment. To implement this change, choose a suitable place for each category of object. Mail goes into a specific drawer, keys have a hook near the door, and appliances are stored in cabinets. The benefit is twofold. Your home becomes visibly more organized and clean, and you develop the habit of giving each object an immediate destination, avoiding the accumulation of clutter. Tip 6. Use the 3-question rule. Before you decide whether to keep, buy, or get rid of any item, ask yourself these 3 fundamental questions. First, do I actually use it? Second, does it bring me joy or serve an important purpose? Third, is it worth the space it takes up in my home? These questions are powerful because they eliminate decisions based on emotion or impulse, which often lead to unnecessary accumulation. We often keep things out of guilt, fear of needing them in the future, or because we paid too much for them. But if we ask ourselves these 3 questions honestly, the answer becomes clear. Let me give you a practical example. You have an exercise machine that you bought with good intentions, but haven't used in months. First, do you actually use it? No. Second, does it bring you joy or serve a purpose? You probably just feel guilty about not using it. Third, is it worth the space it takes up? Definitely not, especially if you live in a small space. The obvious answer is to sell or donate the machine. This technique works for both items you already have and future purchases. Before you buy something new, go through these 3 questions. This prevents impulse purchases and ensures that you only bring home items that truly make sense in your life. The result is a home filled with objects that have a real purpose, saving you space and money and reducing the stress of living surrounded by unnecessary stuff. Tip 7. Implement the seasonal rotation system. This technique will revolutionize the way you handle your clothes, decor, and seasonal items. Instead of keeping everything accessible all the time, you will rotate your belongings according to the seasons and your current needs. The problem with having everything available at once is that you end up with overflowing closets, overflowing drawers, and difficulty finding what you really need. With a rotation system, you keep only the items for the current season in easy-to-access places and store the rest in less accessible places. For example, during the summer, your winter clothes are stored in suitcases or at the top of the closet, leaving free space for light clothes. In the kitchen, utensils specific to holiday parties are stored most of the time, only coming out when needed. The same goes for decor. Decorative objects can be rotated each season, keeping the house always looking fresh without having to buy new things. To implement this system, separate your belongings by category and frequency of use. Keep only 20% of your items within easy reach and store the rest in an organized but less accessible way. Rotate your items as needed with each change of season. The benefits are remarkable. Your spaces become freer and more organized. You rediscover items you had forgotten about, and your home gains a sense of constant renewal. In addition, this system helps you realize which items you really don't use, making it easier to decide when to discard them in the future. Tip 8. Create daily maintenance rituals. The secret to maintaining a minimalist home isn't in big cleaning sessions, but in small daily habits that prevent clutter from accumulating. These rituals only take a few minutes, but they make all the difference in maintaining organization. The problem is that many people wait for the clutter to accumulate and then spend hours organizing everything at once. This creates a stressful cycle of constant disorganization and reorganization. The solution is to incorporate small actions into your daily routine that automatically keep everything in order. Establish simple rituals. Before going to bed, spend 5 minutes putting everything in its place. When you wake up, make your bed and quickly organize your bedroom. After each meal, wash the dishes immediately and wipe down the counter. When you get home, hang up your clothes and put your keys and purse in their designated places. These habits may seem small, but the cumulative impact is transformative. For example, if you spend 5 minutes every night organizing your living room, you'll never have to spend hours cleaning up a huge mess on the weekend. The ritual works because it makes organization an automatic habit, not a chore. Over time, these movements become second nature, and you won't even realize that you're keeping your home organized. The direct benefit is a home that always looks presentable, less stress in your day-to-day life, and more free time on the weekends for enjoyable activities instead of intensive cleaning. Before I move on to the next tip, I want to tell you about something special I prepared for those who want to go beyond this video. It's a complete guide with organization secrets that completely transformed my home and can transform yours too. The link is in the pinned comment, and for a limited time, I'm offering a special discount for channel subscribers. Now let's continue with the next tips, which are some of my favorites. Tip 9. Practice conscious detachment. It's time to talk about the hardest part of minimalism, getting rid of objects with sentimental or financial value. Conscious detachment doesn't mean throwing everything away without any criteria, but rather making smart choices about what really deserves space in your life. Many people get stuck with objects out of fear of regret later or out of guilt about the money spent. This results in houses full of items that are not used but also not discarded. The technique of conscious detachment involves recognizing that objects are tools to improve our lives, not treasures that we should accumulate indefinitely. To practice this, start by identifying objects that you keep only out of emotional or financial obligation. That expensive dress that never looks good on you, the books you never reread, the gifts that don't match your style. For each item, ask yourself, is this object contributing positively to my current life? If the answer is no, it's time to find a new place for it. Donate it to someone who will actually use it, sell it to recoup part of the investment, or recycle it responsibly. The important thing is to understand that keeping something that doesn't serve you does not honor either the object or the money you spent. The result of this process is liberating. You only keep objects that really make sense in your current life. Your home becomes more functional, and you develop a healthier relationship with your belongings. Tip 10. Set clear physical boundaries. The last tip is about creating physical boundaries that prevent uncontrolled accumulation of stuff. This means establishing that each category of item has a specific and limited space in your home. When that space is full, you need to make choices before adding anything new. The problem with not having physical boundaries is that we tend to expand our possessions until they take up all the available space, regardless of the actual need. For example, if you have an entire closet available, you will fill it with clothes, even if you only wear half of them regularly. The solution is to consciously define how much space each category of item can take up. For clothes, maybe only half of the closet. For books, only 2 shelves. For cleaning products, only 1 shelf in the kitchen cabinet. When these limits are reached, you need to apply the rule of in and out. To add something new, you need to remove something old. This forces you to keep only the best items in each category. For example, if your bookshelf is full and you want to buy a new book, you first need to choose an old book to donate or sell. This way, your library keeps its size under control and only contains books that are truly worth keeping. This technique works for any category: shoes, beauty products, kitchen utensils, office supplies. The benefit is twofold. You keep your home naturally organized, and you develop more rigorous criteria for your choices, resulting in higher quality possessions. Now you know the 10 secrets of minimalism that actually work in real life. It's not about living in an empty house, but about being aware of what really matters and makes a difference in your day-to-day life. As I promised at the beginning, here's the secret that few people tell you about minimalism. It's not an end goal. It's an ongoing process of conscious choices. There's no point where you reach it and stop, because your needs and circumstances change over time. The true power of minimalism is in developing the ability to make smart choices about your belongings, creating an environment that supports you instead of weighing you down. Start by applying just one of these tips this week. Choose the one that makes the most sense for your current situation and focus on it until it becomes second nature. Then gradually add the other techniques. Remember, a minimalist home is not a perfect home. It's a home that works for you and your family. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, do so now and turn on notifications to receive more practical organizing tips. My question to you is, which of these 10 tips will you implement first? Tell us in the comments which one sparked your curiosity the most, and if you have any specific questions about how to apply these techniques in your home.